Welcome to the Oklahoma Venture Forum podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey Miller, founder of My Marketing Assistant. And today joining me are Glass and Erin Ogee, co-founders of Sober Sally. And thank you both for being here today and getting to have this wonderful conversation.
Yeah, it's fun.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, so why don't you start out and just tell me what Sober Sally's is?
All right, well, Sober Sally's is an app-based rideshare company. And what we do is we pick up people from a night on the town after having a few too many drinks. And we show up and we pick them up. But what makes us different is we send two drivers. One's the chase driver that will ride behind the pilot driver. The pilot driver will get in the car, the vehicle of the patron, and drive them safely home to their house while the chase driver follows behind closely. So there's a little bit more of protection there. We get them in the house tucked away and then we start all over again.
It even includes a tuck-in service.
Absolutely. At least to the front door. At least to the front door.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that. Guaranteed to the front door.
Did I cover it all?
They sometimes need help getting in the door.
Yeah, they do. They sometimes do.
Because this is already like in motion. This is a business that you all are now helping people through this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah, we started April 12th. We did our beta launch. We simply we did our marketing in 3 rural bars in eastern Oklahoma County. And in just those 3 bars, we had 58 rides in the first 60 days. And we haven't really tried to expand beyond that simply because our app hasn't been released yet. But just by attrition, we've had 178 rides in the last 6 months. So we have 21% repeat customers and super exciting. And we develop relationships with them.
That's right.
One lady was like, I was like, oh, what's his name? You remember? It's a girl. Her name's Rowdy. I'm like, I'm sorry. She like they assume that you know this because we've been here once before. So no one complains about the price. I mean, our average is like $42 a ride, and people try to tip $80 or $90 and.
Because they're so grateful.
They are, but because they've been drinking, we don't take advantage of that. Yeah. We do not take that. We usually put it back in their vehicle, and then we send them a text the next morning saying, your money is in your car. So yeah, true story.
I mean, we don't expect our drivers to do that, but as we're developing relationships and what's the word I'm looking for, Erin? We're developing our brand. We don't want people to say, well, they took all my money. So
yeah, we want people to trust us and know that we're going to be there for them and do the right thing. And what I didn't know is how quickly this was going to be accepted and how needed it actually was. Mm-hmm. I did not understand that until probably about 6-7 weeks in.
Well, it's a strong proof of concept to have that many people using your service so quickly.
It is.
That's exciting. It's exciting that the scalability is like limitless, honestly. One of the things that we found that's kind of surprising was the groups that use us most are like women in their 50s because they can't risk spending the night in jail, right? They have children and grandchildren and parents and grandparents to take care of. And the other group that we were surprised is men over 60 because they're not going anywhere without their truck.
And they're letting us drive their truck. They're letting us drive their dually, which a lot of rural people, farmers, they don't let other people ride their truck, but I guess when they've had a little too many drinks, they're more likely to bend there, but it's been no issue whatsoever. I'm shocked at who our customers have been. I thought it would just be around 25 to 35-year-olds primarily, and in the rural areas, that's not actually the case. They're older. Mm-hmm. So
bartenders call us often and say, hey, come get, I'll just use Milton. Come get Milton. And, he's at it again. And then sometimes the friends at the bar will put their money together and pay us like.
Take our buddy home.
Nobody knows how to get to Milton's pay, but here's our money to take him home. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So are you building relationships with like those bartenders and doormen and things like that?
Absolutely.
It's a focus. It's a focus because we've seen early on that it's making a difference. And I think for me, the thing that makes me so happy at the end of the day is every time I take someone home or Crystal or our drivers, I know that there could have been a life that's been saved. And quite frankly, it could be my children. So a lot of these people, when we're getting them out to the car, we can tell how much they've had to drink. And if we weren't there to drive them home, chances are they're going to drive home, and they can't. Some of them can't even get to the car.
Right.
And we're having to walk them to the door. So, and that's great. Have a blast. Just give us a call so we can get you home safe.
Yeah. Well, I want to step back just a minute before, because I want to get into scalability since you mentioned that, Crystal. But it also is like, how did this start? Like, where did this idea come from? And, what does that look like?
Well, it's interesting. We were playing Singo at it's a bar restaurant called Lumpy's in Midwest City. And there was a gentleman who, he kind of staggered out to the parking lot, obviously to get into an Uber. And a couple minutes later, he got out of the Uber car and then wandered over to his vehicle and drove himself home. And so Erin and I kind of looked at each other like, is this really happening? There has to be a better way. And so, and Erin came up with the name on her. She was like, what about Sober Sally's? We take you and your car home. And then everybody is instantly, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. You're in a gold mine. This is going to be amazing. And we were not sure how to move forward. And so we got involved with Oklahoma Farm Bureau, and they have really helped to guide us because we have, Erin's a nurse practitioner and I'm doing pharmaceutical sales, and we didn't know how to launch a business. And so they really have helped us, to see this gentleman be rejected from an Uber ride was not okay.
It was. He could barely walk and let alone drive. So he pulls out, and I'm thinking, this guy's going to run into some cars, if not a person. And then as he's starting to pull out onto Douglas Boulevard, which can get pretty busy, the only thing I was thinking is about my 3 adult children, because literally they drive on Douglas Boulevard and around Air Depot in Midwest City. And I know this gentleman lives somewhere close. So 20 minutes later, I text all 3 of my adult kids to make sure that they were home safe.
Yeah, it wasn't 1 a.m. It was more like 8 at night. Who knows how long he'd been there, but.
Right. It was more, it was about 8 o'clock because it was Singo time. So yeah. So that's what we were sitting there, and we're sitting by a window so we can see the whole thing happening. And we just look at each other like, wow, this isn't enough. We can be better. He just got denied when clearly he needed help.
And he was trying.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Trying to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. So that's where Sober Sally was born.
Right. And off to a huge start. And then let's talk about the scalability. Like what are the next steps, even though you're still in your first year?
So I'll talk about the scalability for Sober Sally, and then I'll let Erin kind of take it from there. Sober Sally, simply, if you just take the business we've done in 3 bars and you look at Oklahoma alone, statistics show that Oklahomans spend $103 million a year on rideshare to avoid drinking and driving. So that's just to avoid drinking and driving. And so if you do the math based on the 3 bars we've been in, and you divide that and multiply it into the 1,200 bars in Oklahoma, then it equals 103 million. So the money that's been spent in 3 bars multiplied out. So we could easily, if we just got 1% of that business, that's $1 million, right? So it turns out that we simply need 8 driving pairs to have 10 rides per day. For 365 days, that's $2 million. So
just a small percentage of the market.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that difficult, and it makes sense because every time we bring someone home, we're keeping them from doing something illegal and maybe injuring someone.
Yes.
In addition, we've created jobs where people in rural areas can drive for Sober Sally. Other rideshare companies, you have to have a newer vehicle. And if you want to be the pilot driver, you get in the car with the patron. You don't even have to have a car to drive for Sober Sally's.
Right.
So it's, anyway, that's the scalability. We could go beyond Oklahoma, just if you add Dallas alone is 4 times the population of the entire state of Oklahoma. So, completely scalable, and it can go nationwide. The app that we are launching is designed where we can open up state by state. And the rules are a little bit different state by state, so that's kind of how we want to launch it.
Yeah.
And then Erin can talk about outside of Sober Sally.
Yeah, just don't forget one of the biggest reasons that I love this business idea and how things are going is because we truly have been able to give people that live in our town, which we're from Choctaw, Oklahoma, and so southeastern Oklahoma or eastern Oklahoma and beyond, we're giving them jobs. So we have a couple of people that truly do not have vehicles, but because they're willing to be up at night and go on the drives with us, they now are making money.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel really good that we can help them do that. But also just the fact that until Sober Sally's was, a business, if you lived out like in Shawnee or Jones or McLeod, the service isn't offered out there. So these people would go to the local bar, try to get as close as they could to home, but home can still be 9 miles away. Right? So that's a long way. So now we've said, yes, we will meet you at that bar and we'll drive you home and get your car home. So talking about the scalability, we're starting with Sober Sally's for all the reasons we've mentioned above, right? It's a good concept. The why is amazing. It helps a lot of people, but we want to help even more people. And through our Oklahoma grassroots, we've had to learn what customer discovery is. And we found by chance that what was needed also in rural areas especially is to take elders to their doctor appointments, to the community centers, and they're begging for anyone. They're calling the local police departments, asking for rides to the pharmacy because they can't afford rideshare companies. They don't have $15, $16 every day to go somewhere. So we're happy to say that we've got Silver Sally's. And so we're offering a reduced rate in our town with drivers that live close to take some of the elders to the community centers and run them to Walgreens, or if they want to run by, the grocery store, things like that. So, but it goes beyond that. We'll have Sooner Sally's, where we'll be at all the Sooner events, OU Sooners. And eventually we'll have some OSU. We'll have some Aggie Sally, I'm sure. So, so we're scaling it that way so that we can make sure and get there with the college kids and help them get to and from. And it goes from there anywhere. Shopper Sally, go get your groceries for you. Ride Sally, which would be equivalent to Uber. We just drive you in our vehicle. So we have lots of plans to expand it as large as possible, putting a big start on the Sober Sally component.
Yeah, I'm from rural Oklahoma, and so I love that connection.
Yeah.
I grew up I tell people, Oologah, but really I lived in Watova. So that was between Talala and Nowata, if that helps you find it, right? So like very, very rural area. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I feel very connected to this idea. So
awesome.
I had, like, my father, he has a caretaker at home and he has multiple sclerosis, and she was driving him in his wheelchair accessible van one day, and she didn't have her vehicle. And so she is like calling me, here I am in Oklahoma City, and I took your dad, blah, 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 but I don't have my car. And I'm like, oh, well, let me just get you an Uber or a Lyft. Could not, not available in that area. And so that would have been really easy for me to just, and instead I had to call a neighbor, a cousin's person, you know what I mean, to get her a ride, or as opposed to having something serving that community would have been really nice.
Well, we're going to do the best we can. We're going to try to meet that need.
Something that we considered whenever, let's say this gentleman who was trying to get home made it home to his rural house, there was no Uber to bring him back to get his car.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't have to worry about that with Sober Sally. The other thing about Silver Sally is that's going to be the side of our business that we give back to the community. So for right now, if our drivers are willing to take Silver Sally during the day, we're just letting them do the reduced rate, and they can keep all of the fare. We're not our business is not trying to keep part of that fare. One of the things we're looking to do is see if we can get a grant just to take the elders, and then the grant money would pay our drivers so that they can do it for no charge.
That's great.
So that's something that we're looking into. We're there's all kinds of ideas that it's kind of all happening so quickly. It's just super exciting.
It is. And so every time we go speak with like the police departments, they're so happy to hear about what we're doing with Sober Sally because it's going to help everybody. But they're also letting us know that, well, wow, if you really want to help also, you could focus on the elders. So we're looking at putting together some kind of model where maybe it's like $5 one way for the elders, something very affordable.
Mm-hmm.
But like Crystal said, it's not really to make money, it's to meet a need.
Yeah.
So,
well, and like you said, you're gathering cash and stuff too. So that probably is good for that older generation because they're not really wanting to use a credit card or even if they have one.
Right. Or trust Cash App and things like that or pay percentages. Yeah.
They've never heard of Venmo. And if they did, it's,
Yeah.
it's the devil.
Absolutely. Well, I broke the rule a while ago. I said the competitor names, but tell me like how this is different than other rideshare apps that everyone's sort of like familiar with.
Well, I mean, first of all, we send 2 vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's completely different. 2, we are going to, or we do already, we pair women drivers with women riders. So, and we've been able to do that to this point, and that's a real focus.
Yeah, another thing is if you use a competitor, your car is left at the bar. So, someone may see your car at the bar and think you're the town drunk. I mean, maybe my preacher drove by or
a mother-in-law.
Right. Just as an example.
Yeah, maybe worse, right? So, we've had a couple of people, one person, she's called 3 or 4 times and she's like, I don't want you to think I'm really a drunk all the time. I'm going through a divorce and this is just a bad time in my life. And so like, hey, no judgment. We don't think we just think you're being responsible. And in the morning, your car's right there so you can go to work. So,
yeah. And I think the fact that we will go into rural areas. So even if it's a 20-minute drive, we're going to do that so that you don't drive drunk. But one big thing that's really been just people are like eating it up and wanting to drive is that we pay the same day that you drive. So if you decide you want to, drive for a couple hours, you get paid after each ride. Mm-hmm. So it's an incentive just to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And you spoke to that about job creation.
Yeah.
And so tell me more about that. If somebody is driving for you or as you're starting to recruit new people.
Yeah. So basically, like, how do they do that? Like, how do they get, all they need to do is reach out to us, 405-77-NO-DUI. Okay. Or you can get us on our website at sobersalliesapp.com. But we'll send you through, we'll do a background screening and visit with you and interviews and have an application and get you signed up. And we'll make sure that your safety is primary. So like I said, it's a much safer model just because 2 people are going together versus just one. Mm-hmm. So, and all of our drivers, the pilot driver wears a body cam and the chase driver has a dash cam. So we've got the whole thing on audio and video recording so that we can, if we have to show insurance companies or whatever is to happen. To date, we've not had anything happen. So, thank God for that. But we know as we scale, things are going to happen because that's just the way it goes. But we think we're going to be safer, and we're stocking each vehicle or each driver with a backpack that's full of things that focuses on dealing with inebriated clients. So if they're sick, we're going to, hand them a vomit bag so they can be sick in the bag. Now, remember, they're in their own vehicle, so it's not like they're in ours. Mm-hmm. But then we're going to have water bottles and things like that. And we're more than willing to stop and do a quick stop for, say, that somebody wants to pick up a burger or some smokes. The answer is yes, because we don't want you getting back in the car.
Right.
So those are things that make us different. And when we talk to potential candidates that are drivers, they usually onboard pretty quick because they like the concept. They like the fact that they can make money that night, but they like helping people stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple of RNs that typically work the night shift, and so on their off nights, they're awake at night and they're working for us. And then
a couple police officers.
There are some.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there are some that we have a handful that drive for other rideshare companies, but they're percentage that they can gain is higher with Sober Sally. So when we have a ride, they can turn off and click over to us. And they like to do that, especially because they can get paid that day and have gas money for tomorrow, if you will. Mm-hmm. So it's working out nicely. And hopefully as we scale up, those drivers that are working for 2 or 3 companies can go solely over to Sober Sally's.
Yeah, and we're committed to make sure that they continue to get paid on the same day. But then also, some of the competitor rideshare companies, they keep 50% of the fare. And so what we offer is 65% of the fare. We take 35% for advertising, paying insurance costs, but then you keep 100% of the tip.
Okay.
So we've done a lot of research on this, and it seems like when the companies did offer prior 65, everybody was happy. Everybody was making money. So it was well worth it. So I think once we get that out there and get that on billboards, commercials, podcasts, I think people are going to start calling because they can work when they want and make money and get paid the same day.
Yeah. So right now you're still in the 3 places in Eastern Oklahoma?
We are.
Okay. And tell me again where that is.
So Midwest City.
Okay.
So that's probably the farthest one that's closest to the city. And then Choctaw. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we go into Hera, Jones. The 3 bars are pretty much within that 5-mile radius. Mm-hmm. We have taken a few others home that have heard about it, but we haven't specifically marketed to those areas yet. So we were trying to wait for the app to get a little bit more developed.
Oh, way to go, OG.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's probably a Sober Sally call.
We'll edit it out. Oh, if it's a Sober Sally call, you can get it.
No.
You need a ride, we'll take you.
Right? And here we are live for Sober Sally call.
Sober Sally. How can I help you?
Okay, sorry, you can pick back up where you were left. We're talking about Midwest City, Choctaw, 5-mile radius.
Yeah, so our next focus, while the app's still being developed, is that we're going to move in further east. We're going to go into a couple of new bars that opened up in Hera, Jones, and quite frankly, we've had a lot of drives out in the Jones area. So I don't even know if there's any bars out there, but we're going to find out.
Well, there's something happening.
There's something. There's
Yeah.
something because we're taking people home from Jones.
So this is a statewide podcast and statewide organization. So if there are people listening and they are in Oologah or in Alva or wherever, like, should they go to the website and fill out a form, or
Absolutely.
They're ready, or what are you asking people to do?
Reach out to us. You can call us. You can text us. In any way of communicating, we're here. We're ready. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Drop me a message. We're looking for them every day. If you need a service out in your area, let's start talking.
Yeah,
So
we can get some drivers then
from that area.
Go from there.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so law enforcement people, bar owners, like
That's
just
right.
regular patrons, like all of those.
Anybody and everybody. You don't have to work. You can work 2 hours. You can work all night if you want. So sky's the limit.
Something also in the rural areas, sometimes the bartenders in the rural areas, they don't have enough work to stay busy full time. But on their off days, they can drive Sober Sally, and the patrons all know them, and they're comfortable with letting them drive their cars. So they can supplement their income and, make it where it's sustainable for, a living.
Yeah, and when we started this idea, and a couple of people would say things like, that's never going to work because people aren't going to let you drive your cars, but that's opposite of what we found. If anything, it's the other way, like, yes, thank you for the help. Like, these men and these women, they all want the help because the cost of a DUI in Oklahoma is $10,000.
Yeah.
And one thing is that Oklahoma got a huge grant, and it's to take drunk drivers off the road. That grant comes into effect October 1. So there's going to be a lot of different places where they're setting up checkpoints around the state, trying to get drunk drivers off the road. So we want to get our message out there. Let us get you home.
That's how they use the grant money, is just
to pay overtime to their officers to try to keep people off the road.
That's right. So call us. Let's get you home. But like I said, the average cost is, if it's within 10 miles of a certain area from the bar, it's usually about $35 to $42 to get you in your car home, which is a lot cheaper than $10,000.
a substantial amount difference.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Well,
right.
if Uber costs the average of $17, and then the next morning you have to Uber back to your car, it's the same money.
It is by the time you pay your tip and things like that. So
Way more convenient.
Absolutely.
yeah.
So now that we're talking to like all of the members of the Venture Forum, what can we do for you? Like, what are you asking from, entrepreneurial ecosystem to help you on this journey?
We'll share our contact information for drivers. If you have a place you like to visit, hang out and celebrate in the evenings, let them know that there's such a thing as Sober Sally's. And as things develop, we can, who knows, things haven't worked out the way we thought. So we may go to Ulaga next and Ada. We weren't planning that, but if that's where
Our need is.
yeah, then that's where we go.
Yeah, and I think that, we've just received so much support from Oklahoma City. I'm not even just consumer, small business companies, grassroots. Like, we have learned so much. Crystal and I come from the medical field. We strong background in medicine, acute care medicine, and we've actually seen firsthand the effects of driving drunk that it has on patients and their families, and we're ready to help stop that. So we're just so appreciative, but we also know that we don't know everything. And so if there's any critique or anything that advice someone can give us, we're open to it. We think that our specialty is medicine, but your specialty is business. And so we're just open to any ideas and any needs that people have. So yeah.
Love that. Well, you're new on this entrepreneurial journey, I'm assuming, right? Unless you've done other things
No.
previous to this.
Yeah, February we got the idea, and April 12th we did our beta test. So
Talk about moving fast,
Yeah.
here we are.
The need was there.
right?
Yeah.
Well, in this vast experience, then, what's the advice that you would give to someone else who has an idea and they want to start something?
Get connected with experts. Especially if business and marketing is not your expertise, this isn't something you can read about. You're going to need some help from other people, and be willing to be critiqued and be wrong to get it right. And I'd also say, be ready to work really hard. I mean hard.
I would say if you have an idea, for sure, don't give up on your idea. Many times I'm 53 years old, and many times I've had an idea, and then a couple of years later, someone else has, taken it and run with it. And it wasn't because I had an idea, it's just it was a need. And when you see a need, then there's an opportunity to become an entrepreneur. So don't give up on your ideas, and be willing to allow those ideas to morph, because when you start to do customer discovery, you realize that the need isn't necessarily what you thought, but there's some variant of what you had thought of. So don't give up. Keep working. Find help. There's lots of help out there, and find the problems and supply the need.
That's right. And don't be afraid to let your age get in the way. Crystal and I have established careers. I mean, we're 10 years out of retirement, but that's okay, because my kids are grown. It allows me to have the time to think these things through. When they were little and I was working, I didn't have enough time in the day, but now I do. So, and when I go out of this world, I want to go out serving Oklahomans. And so don't let your age get in the way. Just go for it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you both for joining me today. For anyone who's interested in learning more, you can go to sobersallys with an S app.com and visit their website. Like Erin said, they are on all the social medias. I'm assuming it's just Sober Sally's
Yes.
on all of the handles. So you can follow along. And if you're looking for one of these services in your area, please reach out to them and let them know that you want to either be a driver or you think there should be drivers to help you get home. And they will be at the Oklahoma Venture Forum luncheon on November 12th pitching this idea. So I hope you all can join us. And thank you both for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Lindsey. This is fun.
Yeah, super cool. We're excited to be part of the OVF.
OVF. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you. Until next time.